darklings, lightlings, everyone in between. How are you today? So, I wanted to talk about Krampus, the Christmas demon, and possible origins and traditions during this time of the year that would take place in pagan communities or folklore and beliefs. And talk about a goddess, a very old one that this all may have originated from, or in my research, I found originated from. And it was interesting to explore. So I wanted to share it with you and see what you guys think. So we know Christmas is supposed to be about the birth of Christ and a fun, beautiful celebration in December with decorating and gifts and feasting. And we know about Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas. And most of us know about Krampus, a scary demon goat man with chains and bells that attacks the naughty children and drags them to hell or eats them. It sounds pretty terrifying, right? But what's worse about this story, in my opinion, is that the Christian religion actually invented Krampus as a tactic to merge paganism into Christianity and kind of take away from their pagan winter goddess, in my opinion, and used Krampus as an evil symbol of heathenism. So let's explore some of the history and traditions involving the demon of Christmas and where this demon may have derived from. There are many pre-Christian accounts and stories in Europe all over about certain winter deities, or even the horned one a lot of us know about commonly. Well, modernly, Krampus is the shadow demon of Santa and punishes the bad children. But in pagan times, he was viewed differently. There are connections, and it does vary, like from tradition or different times, different cultures. But the connections I made was to the horned god during the pagan festivals in the wintertime, or Yule. Men would dress up, and they still do this to this day in some countries, which I think is completely awesome. But they dress up in animal fur and horned masks and become somewhat of like a nuisance to their communities. They'll go down the streets ringing bells and nowadays setting off fireworks, and kind of like the little tricksters of Yule. I love that. But it was mentioned that originally this tradition became a thing because when Christianity began to emerge, they saw this as pure heathenism, what they believed, what they practiced. So in order to rebel against the church, these communities would dress up and just kind of wreak havoc in their community to basically say, we're not changing our belief, we're not changing our tradition for you, which I admire that. Some argue that Krampus came from the horned god, but if you dig a little deeper, I think he was created from a very old goddess, winter goddess. Percha was a manifestation of duality, in my opinion. She came as a beautiful woman with white hair and a white dress, or if your soul was dark or certain things weren't done traditionally, or if you were lazy as well. It, like I said, it varies from story to story. Then she would appear as an ugly, evil hag. She would either reward you with a silver coin in your shoes, or the hag would gut you and then fill you with pebbles and straw. And she was accompanied by horned elves. Some were good, some were evil, and they were known as the Perchten. The church banned the Austrian communities from dressing up like the Perchten, which is the animal furs and the masks they would wear. They were trying to depict these little creatures. And that's when Krampus came in, when they started to ban these traditions in the 16th century. It started with them creating the stories that these evil elves or demons would attack people on Christmas or on St. Nicholas's Day. So the church saw Krampus, or the Percha, as a symbol of heathenism. This kind of birthed the Krampus we know today, as Christians began associating him with the devil and depicting him as the devil. The chains depicted with Krampus was a symbol given by the church as if he was bound by God or the church. They included a bag on his back so that Krampus could throw naughty children into it and then drag them to hell. December 5th became known as the day Krampus, the demon of Christmas, was allowed to roam freely on the earth and do his thing. This was how the church was able to demonize these traditions and use fear as a way of control. Again, we've seen this over and over. Modernly, some areas in various countries still dress up in the masks and celebrate Krampus Day, which is now known as Christmas Eve. So let's explore Percha more, the goddess, the winter goddess. Other names I found for her could be Hulda. Some say that they're different though. Others say that they are the same, just different names. However, in my research, I noted that both have similar abilities but different territories or different areas. Another name I came across was Percha or Bertha as well. When we think of lore pertaining to the hunt, we think of Odin, or the Germanic counterpart Woden, as the leader of the hunt during winter times. Like Odin, this goddess rides through the sky at night with hosts of animals or spirits or elf-type beings during the 12 days of Christmas. During this time, they visit houses to check if the spinning was done by the women on time, and she would also bless or curse the household on January 5th. The reasons why she blesses or curses vary from story to story, and her rewards vary, along with reasons why. But interestingly enough, while researching her, it is said that she could be a descendant of Frigg or Freya, suggesting on the 12th day of Christmas she would bless women with fertility. This goddess is considered to be gray, meaning both dark and light, depending on what you deserve, kind of in a karmic way. Perhaps it was a pagan way of understanding karma or duality even, or merging of the two in what was just. Also, she is known as belonging to the forest. Kind of like the horned god, right? She is both cruel and kind, ugly and beautiful. Again, that duality. But above all, she is the winter goddess, the primal and ancient. Her days are said to be January 5th or 6th, but a lot of her lore mythology is vast and debated. But note, she was mentioned even if by other names and depictions in many pagan cultures. But I've seen a lot more about her primarily in Germanic or Northern. The name Percha means the shining one. Later she became known as the one to punish the lazy. When Christianity began to rise, she, like many other, became demonized. Over the years, Krampus was the end result of her depiction. This is an example of how religious organizations will go to the extreme to create fear of older and sacred entities throughout time. So I have 2 points with this video. One, don't fear a lot of spirits traditionally mentioned in Christianity or other religious organizations. Because really, if you dig enough, you will find that there is probably no reason to really be afraid of them. They are probably a completely different archetype than what they are depicted modernly through evil, you know. We've talked about that before with like the demon Astaroth being Astarte and then later Babylon or Ishtar or Nana. So we see that quite a lot, the demonizing. And then my second point is I had no idea about this winter goddess. I think it's actually quite cool and neat to explore for other people. I'm going to leave her open for you guys to explore and research through Yule. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I thought this was actually a really neat thing to discover. Well, much love to you all, and I will see you next time.